You're too old to go back to school, or it's too late for you to try again. These are the same concerns that were going through my head when I was considering going back to school. As a non-traditional student myself, I know how daunting it can be to return to school. Putting off going to school has become more commonplace, and going back to school is difficult, and it becomes more difficult the longer you put it off. You can return to school, and you can find ways to afford to pay for it. Over the past 20 years, more high school graduates are choosing not to go to college, and this is a sad fact when studies done by John Schmidt and Heather Boushey show that there is an increase in the earning potential of college graduates. So many of you are thinking, I'll just go back next year. That thought process will continue every year until you take that first step. Now is the time to go back to school. It's been shown in studies done by William R. Doyle and Alexander Gorbunov that the longer you put off waiting to return to school, the less likely you are to succeed. You can see that in this graph that shows the graduation rates of students who have gone to college. The students in the first section here went to college directly after high school. The second took a year off, 1 to 4 years off, and then 5 or more years off. And the longer you wait, the more likely you are to not succeed. Now, this shouldn't prevent you from taking that next step, but it should be what pushes you to do it now and to stop putting it off. Now, and studies done by Lyle Monroe do show that many people don't think they'll fit into a normal university. They feel they might stand out because of their age or how much money they make. But that's where it's important to remember that we live in the digital age. We have the options available to do different ways of going to school. You can go online, or you can go to the brick and mortar schools. There are different options. You just need to choose the one that fits your needs. So many of you are thinking, all right, there's a school for me, but how can I fit it into my busy family and work lives? It takes a lot of organization and time management, don't get me wrong, but everyone can make these changes so that they can succeed in attaining their degree. Ron Shiver and his wife both returned to school after having started their family. They have to get up early, and they stay up late, but they've been able to support their family and succeed in reaching their goals of graduating. You know that you can find a school that fits your needs, and you can fit it into your schedule. Now the big question, how do you afford it? Now this is something that trips up many returning college students. They view the cost as daunting and impossible. You can find ways to pay for school without going into debt. Many people join the armed forces for the tuition assistance, but this is not something everyone can do. If this is not an option, there are other ways. You can use grants from the government, such as the Pell Grant. Many people forget you can still apply for scholarships. These are not something that are just for high school graduates, so do your research. There are many different ways to pay for school and to save money. You can find great tips in books and articles such as The 25 Secrets to Paying for College by Kim Clark, Beth Braveman, and Zane Asher Ejavour. So you have all of the tools to take that first step towards earning your degree. By taking that first step, you'll be well on your way to earning a better wage and setting a great example for your family. The longer you put off going to school, the more difficult it's going to become. You can earn your degree in many ways, from online or through a brick and mortar school. So many of you are wondering, why should I take this step when there's so many difficulties? But remember one thing, there is nothing worth accomplishing that is easy. You will have difficulties, and it will not be a cakewalk, but you can succeed at earning your degree and reaching for the goals that you have set for yourself.